Colby Covington is I'm gonna be honest, man, he's finished. He did not show up at all last night. I figured that the Leon Edwards fight might have just been him getting in his own head, because this isn't the first time that he came out slightly not switched on. I remember when I saw this before, like the first Kamaru Usman fight, he just kind of seemed a little in his headspace, as opposed to the Robbie Lawler fight, where he seemed a little bit more ready to put on a show. Man. Now, I want to give him some credit. He didn't get demoralized. He kept fighting until the doctor waved it off. He stood up and stepped in against Joaquin Buckley, who, was nothing to really win, but everything to lose. And I think he just lost everything by this fight. And Joaquin Buckley is the guy in the division who's really on a climb and has really made a name for himself. In fact, you see Joaquin Buckley versus Kevin Holland in contrast to where he is now. There's an old phrase that my grandfather used to talk about. A dog that fast doesn't long, okay? And it's true. When someone comes onto the scene and shows everything they got, they're not really they're gonna burn out fast. Versus Joaquin Buckley, who, he started questionable, but now through staying active and keeping on, the guy's become a force at welterweight. And with Colby Covington, yeah, I want to give him credit. Thank you for stepping up, listening to the critics. Yeah, you have to earn your way back to gold. But my mom also said something. You can't pour whipped cream on and expect it to come out, delicious. I remember when I would get a bad grade and then I'd correct it, my mom would usually just say, well, you should have been getting that grade from the start, so why are you expecting all this praise? Colby Covington should have always been an active fighter. Now, back in the day, which, man, it's amazing how fast the sport goes on. It seems like just yesterday, Colby Covington was antagonizing Usman and Tyron Woodley and all those guys, and now look where he is today. Man, it just kind of shows that had he kept that momentum and had he not been sitting out waiting for the right shots, it wouldn't have backfired on him like it did. He should have been staying on top of his game from the get-go. I am a guy who believes in redemption, but in this case, it's the sport does speak for itself. Mixed martial arts is not a sport you could sit out from and expect to come back. Despite what Dominic Cruz said on his return to recapturing the bantamweight title, there is such a thing as ring rust, and Colby Covington obviously has it, and he hasn't gotten active enough to shake his ring rust. And now with the cut, he's going to need recovery time. But the fact that he's only going on the decline, his pressure's not there, certain attributes of the game where he could wrestle. He got Joaquin Buckley down a little bit, but usually people who Colby Covington gets down don't get back up. Joaquin Buckley got up. It shows you he's not getting any younger and his game is only regressing. So I think the smarter thing for Colby at this point, just hang it up and retire. Even in the press conference, I had a bad gut feeling because he was playing the same Colby Covington character that's been a little overplayed. And now it's just kind of repetitive at this point. It was funny the first few times, and now as a fan, I'm looking back and saying, okay, this ain't so funny anymore. It's just I already know what he's going to say. If I go to any sort of conservative, video, I could probably find what Colby Covington's going to bring up in the thing. Nothing against conservatives, but you catch my drift. I guess, as someone who had high hopes and was able to look past the persona and just see him for his skills, it's just amazing to see him kind of waste it like he has. And, sometimes it really is too late. And I honestly think he should go back to being a kick streamer or something and going off and doing what he was doing before that, because obviously he's got irons elsewhere besides the UFC, and you shouldn't be fighting in that ring unless you are 100% dialed in and want to be there And sometimes it seems like he just has one foot out the door now, and he should probably stop before he really damages himself, because has left with, I know a lot of people don't like to say this because a lot of the things he says are just jokes and not to be taken seriously, but he has he has taken some pretty minimalistic damage compared to other UFC fighters, and I think he should stop before, well, his brain becomes jello, like truly at its core jello. But congratulations to Joaquin Buckley. It's amazing to see how he has come up. And you know what? I want to see more. I would actually love to see Joaquin Buckley versus Kamaru Usman. I think Usman could still win that one, but if Buckley's willing to push himself and prove me wrong again, I got nothing but support for the guy. So, peace out. See y'all on the next one. Have a good one.